Today I'm going to be telling you a little bit about heart disease. Heart disease is the number one killer in the United States and has been since 1918. There have been over 647,000 people who have been recorded having heart disease in the United States. To break this down into better numbers, that's 1 in 4 people that die because of heart disease. This information can be backed up by the Center of Disease Control. Heart disease is an extremely diverse disease, and it does not only target one sex, race, or ethnic group. Many deaths in the United States are contributed from heart disease, and it is crucial that Americans learn more about this disease and get more information about it. Heart disease widely affects people of all ages, not just the misconception of people who are 65 and older. Today, I will discuss with you some general information you should be aware of, like what heart disease is, what causes heart disease, and different forms of heart disease and how to prevent it. In order to understand heart disease, first you must understand what it is and more about it. Heart disease is a condition in which the heart begins to be unable to perform its job adequately. Heart disease is more of a general topic. So comparing heart disease to cancer is like there's many different forms of cancer, just like there's many different forms of heart disease. So you can have lung cancer, heart cancer, brain cancer, or with heart disease, you can have different forms of heart disease, such as atherosclerosis, arteriosclerosis, and so on. Heart disease is the number one killer in the United States, and it has been since 1918. To break this down in a little bit better perspective understanding, before 1918, heart disease was actually the number one killer and has been since scientists have recorded it down in the books, which that goes past the 1800s. But heart disease is also the number one killer since 1918. So 1918 was actually the only year that heart disease was not the number one killer in the United States. Heart disease has various medical conditions that can go along with it that can be early onset diagnosis of actual heart disease. I'll get more into that in a minute. In order to prevent heart disease, you must know what causes this disease and if it is prominent or not. Some general information you should know about heart disease is that bad health is a huge factor that contributes to heart disease. Bad health, this goes by how you take care of your body. If you're active, do you eat right? Do you do essential things like take basic things like vitamins, drink enough water? But a big factor is high blood pressure. High blood pressure can run in your family, but it can put you at a huge high risk to develop heart disease. Diabetes is also something else that can run in your family, but also puts you at a huge factor to getting heart disease. Diabetes is the lack of insulin, which results in difficulty of processing food that's high in sugar. This can also lead to obesity. Obesity also leads to developing heart disease. Obesity is the actual thickening or hardening of vessels or fat buildup. So with all this excess fat, it's harder for blood to circulate in your body as easily as it should be able to. This eventually leads to inadequate blood flow. Heart disease is extremely severe, and there are some types that are more common than others. In the United States, there are 3 types that are more common than others genuinely. The first type I'm going to tell you about is coronary artery disease. This condition is in which the vessels or arteries of the vessels begin to become blocked. Now, you can subdivide coronary artery disease in 2 other categories: arteriosclerosis and atherosclerosis. Arteriosclerosis is the hardening of the vessel walls, and atherosclerosis is the fatty plaque buildup of the walls. The American Heart Association classifies stroke, heart attack, heart arrhythmia, and other cardiac functions as a form of heart disease. Heart attack is also known as a myocardial infarction, and heart arrhythmia is the rhythm in which your heart beats. Now that you know the cause, you can finally understand some ways to prevent it. Some easy ways to prevent it can include lifestyle changes such as eating healthier, incorporating a healthy exercise, and limiting sodium and sugar intake. Another big factor is don't abuse substances, don't use drugs, and if you smoke, you should stop. Smoking reduces the amount of oxygen being carried throughout your body by blood. One way you cannot really prevent heart disease is if this is a birth defect or there is some kind of malfunction or dysfunction while you were in the womb. So in a way, you could blame genetics. Now that you know a little bit about heart disease what causes it, and how to prevent it, you should inform yourself and others around you. Today, I've told you a little bit about what causes heart disease, the many different forms of heart disease, and how you can prevent this disease. Thank you for your time.